So, hey everybody, we have a lot of chapters to get through if I want to finish Genesis on this stream. So let's just dive in. There was another famine in the land, besides the earlier one during the time of Abraham. Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, at Gerar. The Lord had appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go to Egypt. Stay in this land where I tell you to stay. Live here, and I will be with you and bless you. I am going to give you all the territory to you and to your descendants. I will keep the promise I made to your father Abraham. I will give you as many descendants as there are stars in the sky, and I will give them all this territory. All the nations will ask me to bless them as I have blessed your descendants. I will bless you because Abraham obeyed me and kept all my laws and commands." So Isaac lived in Gerar. When the men there asked about his wife, he said that she was his sister. He would not admit that she was his wife because he was afraid that the men would kill him to get Rebekah, who was very beautiful. When Isaac had been there for some time, King Abimelech looked down from his window and saw Isaac and Rebekah. Abimelech sent for Isaac and said, "So she is your wife. Why did you say she was your sister?" He answered, "I thought I would be killed if I said she was my wife." "What have you done to us?" Abimelech said. "One of my men might easily have slept with your wife, and you would have been responsible for our guilt." Abimelech warned all the people, "Anyone who mistreats this man or his wife will be put to death." Isaac sowed crops in the land, and that year he harvested 100 times as much as he had sown, because the Lord blessed him. He continued to prosper and became a very rich man. Because he had many herds of sheep and cattle and many servants, the Philistines were jealous of him. So they filled in all the wells where the servants of his father Abraham had dug while Abraham was alive. Let me just turn on my air conditioning. Chucky. Okay. Isaac's servants dug another well, and there was a quarrel about that one, so he named it Enmity. He moved away from there and dug another well. There was no dispute among this one, so he named it Freedom. He said, "Now the Lord has given us freedom to live in the land, and we will be prosperous here." Isaac left and went to Beersheba that night. The Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid. I am with you. I will bless you and give you many descendants because of my promise to my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. Then he set up his camp there, and his servants dug another well. Abimelech came from Gerar with Ahuzath, his advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his army, to see Isaac. So Isaac asked, "Why have you now come to see me when you were so unfriendly to me before and made me leave your country?" They answered, "Now we know that the Lord is with you, and we will think there should be a solemn agreement between us. We want you to promise that you will not harm us, just as we did not harm you. We were kind to you and let you go peacefully. Now it is clear that the Lord has blessed you." Isaac prepared a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early next morning, each man made his promise and sealed it with a vow. Isaac said goodbye to them, and they parted as friends. On that day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well which they had dug. They said, "We have found water." He named the well Vow. That is how the city of Beersheba got its name. When Esau was 40 years old, he married two Hittites, Judith, the daughter of Beeri, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon. They made life miserable for Isaac and Rebekah. So Isaac and Rebekah have two children named Jacob and Esau. Isaac was now old and had become blind. He sent for his older son Esau and said to him, "Son." "Yes," he answered. Isaac said, "You see that I am old and may die soon. Take your bow and arrows and go into the country and kill an animal for me. Cook me some of that tasty food that I like and bring it to me. After I have eaten it, I will give you my final blessing before I die." While Isaac was talking to Esau, Rebekah was listening. So when Esau went out to hunt, she said to Jacob, "I have just heard your father say to Esau, 'Bring me an animal and cook it for me. After I have eaten it, I will give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die.' Now, son," Rebekah continued, "listen to me, do what I say. Go to the flock and pick out 2 fat young goats so that I can cook them and make some of the food your father likes so much. You can take it to him to eat, and he will give you the blessing before he dies." But Jacob said to his mother, "You know that Esau is a hairy man, but I have smooth skin. Perhaps my father will touch me and find out that I am deceiving him. In this way I will bring a curse on myself instead of a blessing." His mother answered, "Let any curse against you fall on me, my son. Just do as I say, and you go and get the goats for me." So he went to get them and brought them to her, and she cooked the kind of food that his father liked. Then she took Esau's best clothes, which she kept in the house, and put them on Jacob. She put the skins of the goats on his arms and on the hairless part of his neck. She handed him the tasty food alongside the bread she had baked. Then Jacob went to his father and said, "Father." "Yes," he answered. "Which of my sons are you?" Jacob answered, "I am your older son, Esau. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of the meat that I have brought you so that you can give me your blessing." Isaac said, "How did you find it so quickly, son?" Jacob answered, "The Lord your God helped me find it." Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come closer so that I can touch you. Are you really Esau?" Jacob moved closer to his father, who felt him and said, "Your voice sounds like Jacob's voice, but your arms feel like Esau's arms." He did not recognize Jacob because his arms were hairy like Esau's. He was about to give him the blessing, but asked, "Are you really Esau?" "I am," he answered. Isaac said, "Bring me some of the meat. After I eat it, I will give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he also brought him some wine to drink. Then his father said to him, "Come closer and kiss me, son." As he came up to kiss Isaac, he smelled his clothes, so he gave him his blessing. He said, "The pleasant smell of my son is like the smell of a field which the Lord has blessed. May God give you dew from heaven and make your fields fertile. May he give you plenty of grain and wine. May nations be your servants, and may people bow down before you. May you rule over all your relatives, and may your mother's descendants bow down before you. May those who curse you be cursed, and may those who bless you be blessed." So, I just pause and think there for a second. I guess they Jacob really tricked Isaac pretty bad. Well, let's see how it turns out. Isaac finally finished giving his blessing, and as soon as Jacob left, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He also cooked some tasty food and took it to his father. He said, "Please, father, sit up and eat some of the meat that I have brought you, so that you can give me your blessing." "Who are you?" Isaac asked. "Your older son Esau," he answered. Isaac began to tremble and shake all over, and he asked, "Who was it then who killed an animal and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I gave my final blessing, and so it is his forever." When Esau heard this, he cried out loudly and bitterly and said, Give me your blessing also, father. Isaac answered, Your brother came and deceived me. He has taken away your blessing. Esau said, This is the second time that he has cheated me. No wonder his name is Jacob. And it says, Jacob, the name sounds like the Hebrew word for cheat. He took my rights as the firstborn son, and now he has taken away my blessing. Haven't you saved a blessing for me? Isaac answered, I have already made him master over you, and I have made all your relatives his slaves. I have given him grain and wine. Now there is nothing I can do for you, son. Esau continued to plead with his father. Do you have only one blessing, father? Bless me too, father, he began to cry. Then Isaac said to him, No dew from heaven for you, no fertile fields for you. You will live by your sword, but be your brother's slave. Yet when you rebel, you will break away from his control. Esau hated Jacob because his father had given Jacob the blessing. He thought, The time to mourn my father's death is near. Then I will kill Jacob. But when Rebekah heard about Esau's plan, she sent for Jacob and said, Listen, your brother Esau is planning to get even with you and kill you. Now, son, do what I say. Go once to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him for a while, until your brother's anger cools down, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send someone to bring you back. What should I lose both of my sons on the same day? Rebekah said to Isaac, I am sick and tired of Esau's foreign wives. If Jacob also marries one of these Hittites, I might as well die. Isaac called Jacob, greeted him, and told him, Don't marry a Canaanite. Go instead to Mesopotamia, to the home of your grandfather, Bethuel, and marry one of the young women there, one of your uncle Laban's daughters. May Almighty God bless your marriage and give you many children, so that you will become the father of many nations. May he bless you and your descendants as he blessed Abraham, and may you take possession of this land in which you have lived and which God gave to Abraham. Isaac sent Jacob away to Mesopotamia, to Laban, who was the son of Bethuel the Aramean, and the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. So I remember reading about that a few weeks ago, when Isaac was looking for a wife, and he went to Rebekah's home and met her, Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Mesopotamia to find a wife. He also learned that when Isaac blessed him, he commanded him not to marry a Canaanite woman. He found out that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and had gone to Mesopotamia. Esau then understood that his father Isaac did not approve of Canaanite women. So he went to Ishmael, son of Abraham, and married his daughter Mahalath, who was the sister of Nebaioth. It's tough names to pronounce. Jacob left Beersheba and started toward Haran. At sunset he came to a holy place and camped there. He lay down to sleep, resting his head on a stone. He dreamed that he saw a stairway reaching from earth to heaven, with angels going up and coming down on it. And there was the Lord standing beside him. I am the Lord, the God of Abraham and Isaac, he said. I will give you and to your descendants this land on which you are lying. They will be numerous as the specks of dust on the earth. They will extend their territory in all directions, and through you and your descendants I will bless all the nations. Remember, I will be with you and protect you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave until I have done all that I have promised to you. Jacob woke up and said, The Lord is here. He is in the place, and I didn't know it. He was afraid and said, What a terrifying place this is. It must be the house of God. It must be the gate that opens into heaven. Jacob got up early next morning, took the stone that was under his head, and set it up as a memorial. There he poured olive oil on to dedicate it to God. He named the place Bethel. The town there was once named as Luz. Then Jacob made a vow to the Lord, "If you will be with me and protect me on the journey I am making, and give me food and clothing, and if I return safely to my father's home, then you will be my God. This memorial stone which I have set up will be the place where you are worshipped, and I will give you a tenth of everything you give me." So that's where the Christian idea of tithing comes. That you give a tenth of what you have to God. But I think this was like before a time where you already had to give like 40 to 50% of what you have to the nation. But I don't know what it was like. Jacob continued on his way and went toward the land of the east. Suddenly he came upon a well out in the fields with 3 flocks of sheep lying around it. The flocks were watered from the well, which had a large stone over the opening. Whenever all the flocks came together there, the shepherds would roll the stone back and water them. Then they would put the stone back in place. Jacob asked the shepherds, "My friends, where are you from?" "From Haran," they answered. He asked, "Do you know Laban, grandson of Nahor?" "Yes, we do," they answered. "Is he well?" he asked. "He is well," they answered. "Look, here comes the daughter Rachel with his flock." Jacob said, "Since it is still broad daylight and not yet time to bring the flocks in, why don't you water them and take them back to pasture?" They answered, "We can't do that until all the flocks are here and the stone has been rolled back. Then we will water the flocks." While Jacob was still talking with them, Rachel arrived with the flock. When Jacob saw Rachel with his uncle Laban's flock, he went to the well, rolled the stone back, and watered the sheep. Then he kissed her and began to cry for joy. He told her, "I am your father's relative, the son of Rebekah." She ran to tell her father, and when he heard the news about his nephew Jacob, he ran to meet him, hugged him, and kissed him, and brought him into the house. When Jacob told Laban everything that had happened, Laban said, "Yes, indeed, you are my own flesh and blood." Jacob stayed there a whole month. Laban said to Jacob, "You shouldn't work for me for nothing, just because you are my relative. How much do you want?" Laban had 2 daughters. The older was named Leah, and the younger Rachel. Leah had lovely eyes, but Rachel was shapely and beautiful. Jacob was in love with Rachel, so he said, "I will work 7 years for you if you will let me marry Rachel." Laban answered, "I would rather give her to you than to anyone else. Stay here with me." Jacob worked 7 years so that he could have Rachel, and the time seemed like only a few days to him, because he loved her. Then Jacob said to Laban, "The time is up. Let me marry your daughter." So Laban gave a wedding feast and invited everyone. But that night, instead of Rachel, he took Leah to Jacob, and Jacob Not until the next morning did Jacob discover that he married Leah and not Rachel. He went to Laban and said, "Why did you do this to me? I worked to get Rachel. Why have you tricked me?" Laban answered, "It is not the custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older. Wait until this week's marriage celebrations are over, and I will give you Rachel, if you will work for me another 7 years." Jacob agreed, and then the week of marriage celebration was over. Laban gave his daughter Rachel as his wife, and he loved her more than Leah. Then he worked for Laban another 7 years. When the Lord saw that Leah was loved less than Rachel, he made it possible for her to have children, but Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She said, "The Lord has seen my trouble, and now my husband will love me." So she named him Reuben. She became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. She said, "The Lord has given me this son also, because he heard that I was not loved." So she named him Simeon. Once again she became pregnant and gave birth to another son. She said, "Now my husband will be bound more tightly to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." So she named him Levi. Then she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. She said, "This time I will praise the Lord," so she named him Judah. Then she stopped having children. But Rachel had not borne Jacob any children, and so she became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children or I will die." Jacob became angry with Rachel and said, "I can take the place of God. He is the one who keeps you from having children." She said, "Here is my slave, Bilhah. Sleep with her so that she can have a child for me. In this way I can become a mother through her." So she gave Bilhah to her husband. Bilhah became pregnant and bore Jacob a son. Rachel said, "God has judged me in my favor. He has heard my prayer and has given me a son." So she named him Dan. Bilhah became pregnant again and bore Jacob a second son. Rachel said, "I have never fought a hard fight with my sister, but I haven't won." So she named him Naphtali. When Leah realized that she had stopped having children, she gave her slave Zilpah to Jacob as his wife. Then Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Leah said, "I have been lucky," so she named him Gad. Zilpah bore Jacob another son, and Leah said, "How happy I am, now women will call me happy," so she named him Asher. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went into the fields and found mandrakes, which are plants which were believed to produce fertility and were used as love charms. Okay. Which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." Leah answered, "Isn't it enough that you have taken away my husband? Now you are even trying to take away my son's mandrakes." Rachel said, "If you will give me your son's mandrakes, you can sleep with Jacob tonight." When Jacob came in from the fields in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You are going to sleep with me tonight because I have paid for you with my son's mandrakes." God answered Leah's prayer, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Leah said, "God has given me my reward because I gave my slave to my husband." So she named her son Issachar. Leah became pregnant again and bore Jacob a sixth son. She said, "God has given me a fine gift. Now my husband will accept me because I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. Later she bore a daughter whom she named Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel. He answered her prayer and made it possible for her to have children. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She said, "God has taken away my disgrace by giving me a son. May the Lord give me another." So she named him Joseph. Okay, Joseph, I think, is going to be the most important one. I think, if I remember correctly. After the birth of Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Let me go so that I can return home. Give me my wives and children, and that I have earned by working for you, and I will leave. You know how well I have served you." Laban said to him, "Let me say this. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Name your wages, and I will pay them." Jacob answered, "You know how I have worked for you, and how your flocks have prospered under my care. The little you had before I came has grown enormously, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I went. Now it is time for me to look out for my own interests. What shall I pay you?" Laban asked. Jacob answered, "I don't want any wages. I will continue to take care of your flocks if you agree to this suggestion. Let me go through all your flocks today and take every black lamb and every spot or speckled young goat. This is all the wages I want. In the future you can easily find out if I have been honest when you come to check up on my wages. If I have any goat that isn't speckled or spotted, or any sheep that isn't black, that you will know that it has been stolen." Laban answered, "Agreed. We will do as you suggest." But that day Laban removed the male goats that had stripes or spots, and all the females that were speckled and spotted, or which had white on them. He also removed all the black sheep. He put his sons in charge of them, and then went away from Jacob with his flock as far as he could travel in 3 days. Jacob took care of the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob got green branches of poplar, almond, and plane trees, and stripped off some of the bark so that the branches had white stripes on them. He placed these branches in front of the flocks at their drinking trough. He put them there because the animals mated when they came to drink. So when the goats bred in front of the branches, they produced young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob kept the sheep separate from the goats, and made them face in the direction of the streaked and black animals of Laban's flock. In this way he built up his own flock and kept it apart from Laban's. So Laban tried to trick him again, I guess. When the healthy animals were mating, Jacob put the branches in front of them at the drinking troughs so that they would breed among the branches, but he did not put his branches in front of their weak animals. Soon Laban had all the weak animals, and Jacob all the healthy ones. In this way, Jacob became very wealthy. He had many flocks, servants, camels, and donkeys. And then you can see a picture here of all the herd that Jacob had amassed. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, "Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father. He got all his wealth from what our father owned." He also saw that Laban was no longer as friendly as he had been earlier. Then the Lord said to him, "Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives. I will be with you." So Jacob sent word to Rachel and left to meet him in the field where his flocks were. He said to them, "I have noticed that your father is not as friendly toward me as he used to be, but my father's God has been with me. You both know that I have worked for your father with all my strength, yet he cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. But God did not let him harm me. Whenever Laban said, 'The speckled goats shall be your wages,' all the flocks produced speckled young. When he said, 'The striped goats shall be your wages,' all the flocks produced striped goats. God has taken flocks away from your father and given them to me. During the breeding season I had a dream that I saw that the male goats that were mating were striped and spotted and speckled. The angel of God spoke to me in this dream and said, 'Jacob.' Yes, I answered. 'Look,' he continued, 'all the male goats that are mating are striped, spotted, and speckled. I am making this happen because I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel, where you dedicated a stone as a memorial by pouring olive oil on it, and where you made a vow to me. Now get ready and go back to the land where you were born.'" Let me just say. Rachel and Leah answered Jacob, "There is nothing left for us to inherit from our father. He treats us like foreigners. He sold us, and now we had spent all the money he had paid for us. All this wealth which God has taken from our father belongs to us and to our children. Do whatever God has told you." So Jacob got ready to go back to his father in the land of Canaan. He put his children and his wives on the camels and drove all his flocks ahead of him, with evening that he had gotten in Mesopotamia. Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and during his absence Rachel stole the household gods that belonged to her father. Jacob deceived Laban by not letting him know he was leaving. He took everything he owned and left in a hurry. He crossed the Euphrates River and started for the hill country of Gilead. 3 days later, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. He took his men with him and pursued Jacob for 7 days until he caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. In a dream that night, God came to Laban and said to him, "Be careful not to threaten Jacob in any way. Jacob has set up his camp on a mountain, and Laban has set up his camp with his relatives in the hill country of Gilead." Laban said to Jacob, "Why did you deceive me and carry off my daughters like women captured in war? Why did you deceive me and slip away without telling me? If you had told me, I would have sent you on your way with rejoicing and singing to the music of tambourines and harps. You did not even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. That was a foolish thing to do, and I have the power to do you harm. But last night the God of your father warned me not to threaten you in any way. I know that you left because you were so anxious to get back home, but why did you steal my household gods?" I don't know. I wonder what they mean by household gods. Like, do they mean like some little idol or something? Jacob answered, "I was afraid because I thought you might take your daughters away from me. But if you find that anyone has your gods, he will be put to death. Here with our men as witnesses, look for anything that belongs to you and take what is yours." Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen Laban's gods. Laban went and searched Jacob's tent. Then he went into Leah's tent, and then the tent of the two slave women, but he did not find his gods. Then he went into Rachel's tent. Rachel had taken the household gods and put them in a camel's saddle bag, and was sitting on them. Laban searched through the whole tent, but did not find them. Rachel said to her father, "Do not be angry with me, sir, but I am not able to stand up in your presence. I am having my monthly period." Laban searched but did not find his household gods. Then Jacob lost his temper. "What crime have I committed?" he asked angrily. "What law have I broken that gives you the right to hunt me down? Now that you have searched through all my belongings, what household article have you found that belongs to you? Put it out here where your men and mine can see it, and let them decide which one of us is right. I have been with you now for 20 years, and your sheep and your goats have not failed to reproduce. And I have not eaten any rams from your flocks. Whenever a sheep was killed by wild animals, I always bore the loss myself. I didn't take it to you to show that it was not my fault. You demanded that I make good anything that was stolen. During the day or during the night, many times I suffered from the heat during the day and from the cold at night. I was not able to sleep. It was like that for the whole 20 years I was with you. For 14 years I worked to win your daughters, and 6 years for your flocks. And even then you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my fathers, the God of Abraham and Isaac, had not been with me, you would have already sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my trouble and the work I have done, and last night he gave his judgment." Laban answered Jacob, "These young women are my daughters, their children belong to me, and these flocks are mine. In fact, everything you see here belongs to me. But since I can do nothing to keep my daughters and children, I am ready to make an agreement with you. Let us make a pile of stones to remind us of our agreement." So Jacob got a stone and set it up as a memorial. He told his men to gather some rocks and pile them up. Then they ate a meal beside the pile of rocks. Laban named it Jegar Saraduthah, while Jacob named it Galeed. Laban said to Jacob, "This pile of rocks will be a reminder for both of us that this is why that place was named Galeed." Laban also said, "May the Lord keep an eye on us while we are separated from each other." So the place was also named Mizpah. Laban went on, "If you mistreat my daughters or if you marry another woman, even though I don't know about it, remember that God is watching us. Here are the rocks I have piled up between us, and here is the memorial stone. Both the pile and the memorial stone are reminders. I will never go beyond this pile to attack you, and you must never go beyond it or beyond the memorial stone to attack me. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor will judge between us." Then in the name of the God whom his father Isaac worshipped, Jacob solemnly vowed to keep his promise. He killed an animal which he offered as a sacrifice on the mountain, and he invited his men to the meal. After they had eaten, they spent that night on the mountain. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters goodbye and left to go back home. Okay, that's some good reading too that we got through. That's only 5 chapters, but they're dense chapters though too. So I'll pick up later on.